29th of August, 1996, Darren Nicholls made a witness statement regarding the alleged purchase of the Mossberg New Haven AT-12 shotgun, implicating Michael Steele. It was complete lies. The jury saw through his purged testimony and found Steele not guilty. The following is from the statement of Darren Nicholls. Further to my previous statement, sometime in November 1995, Mick Steele asked me round his house and asked me if I knew anyone who could get him a gun. He did not tell me why he wanted a gun, and I did not ask. Mick suggested that I should ask around to see if I knew anyone who had one for sale. I asked somebody I knew who used to have a gun which he used for shooting rabbits over the fields. He told me that he had got rid of his one. I told Mick that I didn't know anybody because I wasn't particularly keen on getting him one. Mick did ask me on several occasions whether I had had any luck, but I told him I hadn't. I never asked Mick at all why I wanted it, but I presumed it was because there was rats and foxes all around his new house. Eventually, he said to me to forget it. Between 3 to 7 days after the murders of Tate, Tucker and Rolfe, a gypsy by the name Matty knocked on my door at home. I cannot recall what time of day this was, but he said to me, words to the effect, "Someone told me that you were looking to buy a gun." He said he had one in his van. I thought I'd better have a look at it in order to make the situation look right. I was concerned because all the conversation at the time was about the murders. I went and had a look at the gun, which was a single barrel pump action shotgun. He told me that there were 3 cartridges with it. He told me that it was a 9-shot. I told him to wait at his van while I phoned my friend. I would describe Matty as having gypsy-type complexion, stocky build, late teens or early 20s, with dark brown medium-length scruffy hair. He was driving a white Nissan vehicle. I do not know the index number. I do know this person as Matty, as I've seen him in the pubs and other places in Braintree in the past. He is not a friend, and I have not previously associated with him. I believe that his granddad, or one of his relatives, owns the gypsy site on the A120 between Braintree and Marks Tey. I went back indoors and I phoned Mick. I told him that someone had come round with a gun for sale. I said that I didn't know what to do because I knew he didn't need one anymore. Mick told me to buy it anyway, but because he didn't want any suspicion. I told Mick that Maddie was asking for £350 for it, and he said buy it and he would sort me out. I went back to Matty and told him I would have it. Matty then took the shotgun out of his van and put it in the back of my works van. I put it under some sheets of plasterboard. I went indoors and I got the money. I returned to Matty and handed over £350. Matty then left, and shortly afterwards I drove to Mick's house, but he wasn't there, so while I was waiting, I went in and I put it in his barn, hiding it behind some bamboo poles. Mick turned up and I showed him the gun. There were 3 cartridges in the bottom of the shotgun case, and I pushed these up into the magazine. I handed it to him and he thought it was great. I can't remember who unloaded it, but the cartridges and the gun were put back into the case and then placed back behind the bamboo poles. At some point later, Mick told me that he and Jack had test-fired the gun to make sure it worked. He said that they had fired off all 3 cartridges in the grounds of his house. The next time I saw the gun was a couple of weeks later when I was doing some work in Mick's loft. I saw that it was lying in its case on top of the water tank. I thought this was a bad idea, so I moved it and placed it under a sheet of wood, which was nailed down by the side of the tank. I told Mick what I'd done, and he said, yeah, great. I never saw the gun again. About 5 p.m, on Thursday the 29th of August 1996, I was in company with DC Brown and DC Winston when I was shown a Mossberg shotgun and brown plastic case. I can say this gun is similar in every aspect to the one I referred to in this statement. I have also been shown an Essex police photograph album, photograph 19. I can say this is where I placed the gun, to which I refer. I have also been shown from the same album, photographs 20 and 21, and again confirm that this weapon is similar in every respect to the one I have referred to. This statement is a good example of how far Nicholls was prepared to go to fit up steel and the sophistication of his perjury.